So I want to talk about some stuff before we actually play today. I want to just talk about my experience as of yesterday. I want to talk about the good and the bad, the ban list. I played some of this. It's pretty good, in my opinion. There's a lot of things that are right about this game, and there's a few things that are wrong. The things that are wrong are a little more nitpicky, if I'm being honest. So far, from the day one, from the whales, from the free-to-players, from the people in between, it feels like everyone's relatively happy with the game, and not including a few things. What up, Mr. Sub? How you doing? So those few things be, here are the general consensus of cons that I hear from the community. Not the actual TCG ban list, not the actual OCG ban list, some weird mix. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. We got the game at the same time as the OCG. It's perfectly fine to have some sort of a merged list so that all players are on the same playing field. It makes total sense, right? I think what this is doing is this is the bridge to finally connecting both the OCG and TCG together, to finally merging the ban list and saying, screw it, there's no more release dates before you guys. We're getting everything at the same time and we're merging the ban list. That is maybe the first step. At least that's what it feels like to me. Just like the old Yu-Gi-Oh games, it doesn't feel pay to win. I'm going to talk about that some more. The second thing is that ranked is best of one. A lot of traditional Yu-Gi-Oh players are used to best 2 out of 3 because they side deck and they play in tournaments, and there's bad matchups, so sometimes you need to side in cards, take out cards, put in tech choices to help with certain matchups because they feel more unplayable. Or going second is harder against X decks, whatever. And it feels very high rolly, very dice rolly. You have to build your deck in Ordnance to be able to play both first and second, and it makes deck building feel really diluted. I'm gonna go ahead and play devil's advocate again here. I think that best of one makes a lot of sense for trying to keep a large and active player base because the competitive community is not as big as the casual community, and casuals do not want to sit in a best of 3 against Sky Striker for like 35 minutes per game. Okay, this is supposed to be quick, dirty, fast. You're supposed to. They wanted to be able to be played on mobile at some point. It's playable on console, right? If we had best of 3 and ranked, this game would take forever. I don't say, oh, we'll just only do casual queue like that. No, ranked casuals are still gonna play ranked. No, because that's where the rewards are. Maybe in a tournament setting, they do some sort of a side deck best of 3. Maybe they'll figure that out. When it comes to just ranked, best of 1 is probably fine. Get over it, play the game, you'll be all right. Now, some of my personal cons. Master packs are like actual RNG. So let's go to the shop real quick. Master packs literally have all the cards in the game. They have over 6,000 cards in just the master pack. That's fucked up. That's fucked. Maybe they will at some point for tournament stuff. Right now it's just ranked. Who gives a shit? Get over it, right? It's ranked, bro. If you're taking ranked seriously, you're a joke. You know what I mean? I say the same thing about fighting. If you're taking ranked seriously, you're a joke. It's not getting you anywhere, right? If they do like YCSs, they do regionals, they do world finals on this stuff, they'll probably make some way to side deck or switch decks in between rounds or something like that. Cool. We don't have to worry about that right now. Shut up. It's just ranked. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? You can't change your character rank to Soul Calibur. You get counterpicked and you play against the wrong character, right? I'm Zos. I play against fucking Nightmare. I'm Malding, dude. And I just have to play out the match. Oh, fucking well. I just have to play the deck differently, the character differently. Anyways, master packs are trash. They're actual RNG, but they lead to secret packs. Same with Star Wars Force and Revival Legend. Secret packs really promote whaling. We can totally play after I'm done talking about this stuff. Secret packs really promote whaling. I don't like the way that the secret packs inherently work because they're like, hey, you only have 24 hours, right? So I played yesterday and now I haven't played in a while. So because I haven't played today, you can get a lot of stuff from the secret packs for whatever archetype you're trying to get, but the fact that they're only available 24 hours means you have to go in on that pack as hard as you can for that 24 hours to make whatever you need to make. It's silly, and I think that a big way to stop secret packs from being so overwhelming, because I understand they don't just want all these packs sitting here. That's why I said pay to win. No, I'm gonna explain in the pros why it's fine. You can craft a card and then open a secret pack instead of having to go into the packs. You just craft whatever card you want and it'll open the secret pack for 24 hours. Now, what I was going to get into is they could make it so that instead of it being 4, it's 4 cards, right? So let's go here. And it shows here featured cards. So all of these featured cards, there's going to be 4 featured spots out of 8 in the pack. Yes, you can craft cards, Casino, I'll get to that in a second. 4 out of 8 of the cards will be featured from this pack. Make it 6, make it 7, right? Make it so there's 1 or 2 random, yes, as long as you have the CP. We'll get into that in a second. They should make that, it says 4, my camera's in the way, I'm sorry. It's 4 of 8 will be guaranteed featured cards. They should change that. That should be 6, that should be 7. There should be less RNG on these since you only have them for 24 hours, making it so you don't have to wail so hard on these packs. Because it's really obnoxious. It's gacha style, but it doesn't feel as unfair as a lot of other gacha styles, right? The ban list is really fucking wild. We'll get into that a little more later. The card filtering system feels really unintuitive because there's no bookmarking. There's no like auto deck feature like there is in Duel Links or anything like that. And that's something that should be changed. The single player stuff, the translations are ass and the stories are trash, but you can get a lot of stuff out of it, right? This is all the stuff in the con section. Most decks cost roughly the same price. That's a con. That's a con. Because that means if you're playing a bad deck, you're paying the same amount roughly as someone who's playing a meta deck, right? You're making Sky Striker, you probably have 4 URs in your deck, 3 URs in your deck, and like 3 supers in your deck, or you know, whatever, something like that. So do the budget decks, so do the bad decks, right? A deck like UA has 2 ultra rares. UA is fucking awful. UA should not have a single ultra rare. There are a few decks out there that you can kind of get away with playing 0 rares, and we'll talk about those later. But right now we're just getting into the fact that for the most part, most decks are too predicated on this system of there has to be an ultra or a super for them. I think like lower budget rarity decks should have supers. Yeah, just bump those cards that are super down to rare, bump those cards that are ultra down to super. Easy peasy, pretty decent fix there, right? And you'll still be able to trigger a box because, you know, you still have a couple super rares in your deck instead of having ultra rares. I don't think bad decks should just be running around with 3 ultra rares, having to craft 6 of a card or 9 of a card, just like something like a meta deck would have to do. That's a really weird thing. Being competitive, I think that the game is very top heavy when it comes to pricing. It's very front heavy, right? So there's a lot of cards in the Star Wars Force pack. So let's go to the Star Wars Force pack that you're gonna get, right? That are pretty cool. Cards included in this pack. So in the Star Wars Force pack, you're gonna get yourself as staples, maybe some Twin Twisters, maybe some Pot of Desires, right? That looks like the only staples in here, right? I don't really see any other staples. And this is like the competitive meta pack. A lot of the meta cards, you just have to craft. They're not in some sort of a pack. Infinite Impermanence. I believe Ash Blossom is the same way. There's a lot of cards that are very competitively relevant, that are meta relevant, that are ultra rare, super rare, right? 3 ofs, 2 ofs that you're gonna play a lot. Triple Toxic's Talent, Infinite Impermanence, Ash Blossom, Maxi, things like that. Those aren't in the Star Wars Force pack, right? They're not in this. They're not in the Star Wars Force pack. So you just have to craft them. You're gonna have to spend 90. You're gonna have to spend 120. You're gonna have to spend 270 on just on CP for ultras and supers a lot of times. Yeah, a lot of those 1-ofs are in the extra deck, or they're a card like Terraforming Upstart Goblin, which is a 3 by the way, sick. Terraforming 1-for-1. I'm trying to think of really powerful 1-of spells, right? Things like the Imperial Order, another 1-of trap card. Those cards, they're not in a box. You kind of just have to hope that you get them by making them. You have to craft them later. And I think that they did that on purpose so that whenever you're opening packs, you get that dopamine hit of, yeah, I got cool cards if you're like a casual player. But then as a competitive player, you have to take that next step and actually craft cards. You have to use the crafting. And that's really it for my cons. That's kind of it. Pros, every deck. This is both a con and a pro. Every deck costs the same. That means that if you're playing a fucking meta deck, you are paying just as much as someone who's playing that fucking shit tier deck that you think is trash and you don't want to waste your gems on it. The pricing is relatively fair for these decks. I played for an hour and I finished almost all of Print Kids. I'm just missing the meta staples. My Print Kids deck, which probably a tier 2, right? Tier 1 or tier 2 deck, it's done. Let's go over to my Print Kids deck. You guys can see. And I haven't spent a single dime on the game yet. This is a meta contender, and I have 2 non-meta contender decks that I made with the excess, right? Look at that. It's done. Pretty much. I need a 3rd Maxi, I need a third Ash. All right, I could fix this trap and monster and spell lineup, all that stuff. I can fix some of these card ratios. But for the most part, the deck is done. This is very good. This is what you want to see in a competitive game, right? You want to see that you can finish whatever deck you want to make in a quick time, right? Maybe it's just because it's early game, so they're giving us big rewards. but that's still a good thing. That means right now you're making the most of that, and you're gonna be able to get a lot of stuff now. And you want to make sure that you're getting rid of those cards you don't want. You turn those trash ultras, those trash supers, those trash rares into CP so you can use them for later. Now is the time. The UI is also really good, minus the systems in here, right? Crafting is relatively fair, and I think pricings for accessories and grinding ranked with like one of the starter decks is relatively fair too. I would say Pendulum specifically. All that stuff's good. Best of one, like I said earlier, keeps the game kind of fast compared to other games, and you can like build 1 to 2 decks free to play at the start. These are all pros. Fair rewards for just logging in, playing ranked. You get decent gems, you get legacy packs, you get things like that. The ban list being an open format means that no one really has an inherent advantage unless they're studying the game as it is now. Have to craft cards. I'll show you that after we're done talking about the pros and cons. The single player gives a lot of resources, right? A lot of CP, a lot of those weird things that let you open other doors, gives you cards, gives you gems. The single player is a great way to just kind of farm your way into finishing your first deck, which I think is a good thing. Bringing friends is really intuitive once you figure out you just have to follow each other. That's super dope. I love it. And the last thing we're going to talk about is the Duel Pass, right? When you first start off, you start off with 1,000 gems, if I'm not mistaken, right? You get 1,000 for gems. The Duel Pass is 600. But let's look at some of the things you get inside of the Duel Pass. I think the Duel Pass is really fair. This is like the battle pass of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, right? So level 2, you get 30 gems if you get the gold, right? 30 gems, you get some SR points already, 11, right? So if we scroll through this and we can count that you get, I've already counted, you get over the 600 gems back, right? So you're spending 600 gems up front to get a bunch of CP and additional gems for later. These UR, right? These UR CPs and these SR CPs are very, very, very important currency. You need a lot of it. You're gonna need a lot of it if you're gonna work on making like some sort of a meta deck or even like rogue or halfway competitive deck. And just getting little gems in increments is really, really nice. I played for 4 hours yesterday, not very long, and I'm already grade 19. I've already gotten a decent amount of rewards out of this system. I believe you get to 600 somewhere around 60, level 60, you get that 600 back. So everything after 60, maybe it's 50. Everything after 50, right, is free real estate. All of this stuff that we're just going and going and going. That's just more free stuff that you're getting. You already got your stuff back. And I think if you get to 100, you get something cool. I don't remember. Oh, you get pot of greed. That's pretty pot. Pot of greed? That is definitely pot. Yeah, so I think that the battle pass or the duel pass is totally worth it. That is a big thumbs up that they made the pricing really, really fair on it. Are you the facts? Is that not facts guy? Me? No, I think that doing the solo stuff is really helpful, and just playing ranked, even if your deck isn't complete, right? You're gonna at least get through bronze. You're gonna get a lot of rewards for that, and then you'll be able to slowly incrementally work on your deck. I haven't spent any gems really since I finished Print Kids. I think I spent like 4,000 just for the dopamine hit, right? So I should have 10k gems right now, and I'm basically done with my deck. Now I just need staples, which once you're done with that front loading, which I list as a negative, once you're done with that front loaded cost of getting all your staples, getting your impotent permanences, your evenly matched, your ash blossom, your cosmic cyclones or twin twisters, after you're done getting all that stuff, all you gotta do is make cores, and you're just throwing those cards into the deck. Maybe making a one-off off super rare or one-off off rare. Yeah, I'm on console only because you get 50 free legacy packs on console, and I for some reason couldn't get my accounts to sync. So when it comes out on mobile, I'll be on PS4 and mobile. I won't be on PC, but it is still gonna be full crossplay. Full cross progression. That was another con. I couldn't get my cross progression to work properly. I'm very upset about it. Hopefully they fix that later. It might be like a server overload issue of some kind. 50 free legacy packs. Yeah, legacy packs kind of suck because you can't break them down, but it does stop you from soft locking yourself out of the game and only being able to use starter decks because you like legacy packs only give you 2 cards. It's 100 free, but that's still something to start off with, especially if you're more of a casual player. It's just nice to have more options of cards no matter what they are. I think it's really cool. But that's my like day one first impressions of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, right? When it comes to the pros and cons. There's so much more to talk about. There's so much more to discover in this game, and I hope that this is going to be the new best way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? I think the pricing on the decks is fair enough that even though you don't have those physical cards in your hand, You still get the dopamine hit of opening packs. You still have a relatively fair system of gaining things, so it's pretty worth playing. If you're an old-time fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you want to jump back into it, if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player who doesn't really have a local scene and you want to jump into it, or if you play other card games and you've never played a lick of Yu-Gi-Oh! Before ever, this is the game to play. Anyways, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching the video. Hey, tell me how you like Master Duel so far in the comments down below. And while you're down there, go ahead and scroll back up a little bit and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, because we're going to be making a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel content. That's not going to be the bread and butter of the channel. Of course, I'm still a Soul Calibur player through and through, but you're going to see a lot more Master Duel out of me. Absolutely fun game. Loving it so far. Have a good one, everybody. Peace.